Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to a live recording of Guide to the Unknown with me, William.
And me, Kristen.
We're going to be getting the show started in just a few minutes. If you're not watching this live, then you can watch the live chat happen alongside us on this video or jump to another video to see the finished episode 66.
That's right.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to give people a couple of minutes to get in here, get set up. We're going to
Yep.
share the show ourselves, as we always do.
Yeah.
What else is there to say?
That's it. Let's get sharing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's
anybody's
share
here.
about. We might see people begin to pop in.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
Hey,
here.
Eric.
Let me, hey, Eric. If I put it over there, does that make it easier for you?
Yes. Yep. Hey, Christy.
Try
Hope
to
your day
zoom
got a
in
little bit better.
Yeah, I hope your day got better, Christy. I'm sorry about all that. I
Yeah.
saw, yeah. And Mom, hello.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, okay. Mom gave me a reminder of something that I need to talk about on the actual show.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I said
Oh,
I made an
no.
untrue statement last week.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I think I know what.
Yep.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
I don't remember this whatsoever.
Maybe you blocked it.
I guess I did.
Okay, let's post some links and stuff. And while we're doing this setup-y kind of thing, people feel free to drop in the chat stuff that's going on in your little world.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on with you?
Spooky stuff. If you've seen a frozen ghost, things of that nature. You
I would
understand?
imagine.
If you're turning into a frozen ghost.
Yeah. I can't. Look, nothing's more interesting than talking about the weather.
I know.
And I can't believe how cold it is.
It's very
It's really awful.
It's very cold. That copy link. Bingo. Look at this. I'm flying.
Ooh.
I'm flying.
Ooh!
Um,
Ooh.
Where are you posting right now?
I'm going to do Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, it's your friend Kristen. And we're switching it up. We're going live on YouTube. YouTube.com/talkbomb right now.
Stop panning over to me. I want to creep in slowly.
Okay, let's go. Yipes!
Hey guys, it's your friend Kristen. And switching it up.
Oh my god.
Switching it up. Oh my gosh.
Right now. Stop bending over to me. I
Let me turn the volume down.
We are live
Yeah.
right now. Grab a blanket and tune in. It's cold outside, but we're about to send a chill up your spine.
Would you call this a chat room? Is it accurate to say you can watch the show live with a chat room of cool peeps? What would you call that?
That feels like a very old internet.
Ancient.
AOL chat rooms.
What would you call this?
Live chat.
With a live chat?
Yeah.
Watch a show week live with a live chat? I guess.
Live and chat with other people.
And-
People understand, I think, without it needing to have
Okay.
a term. Plus, maybe chat room is appropriate. It just seems odd to me.
Yeah, that's why I asked. It
You
seems
know?
odd to me too.
Yeah. I do miss the like AOL AIM days, though.
Yeah, preps versus freaks.
What?
There were chat rooms of like preps versus freaks, jocks versus freaks, and there's be teenagers being like, "We're better," because whatever.
That's awesome.
I know.
Freaks. Jocks versus freaks.
Yeah.
It's
My
going
friends and I
down.
used to go in there.
It's going down.
It is going down.
Man, what am I doing?
See?
Fumbling about on the internet
Eric,
like an
you
old
know
man.
what? Email us 2-sentence horror stories because we're gonna start like we're scattering them throughout.
Yeah.
Like they'll be in like listener episodes and stuff, and maybe scattered throughout. So you can email them to us.
Yeah, I started reading stories and then stumbling over myself and not selling them well.
Yeah, we need to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little less on the fly. But yours are awesome, so
They
please
are
do
great.
send them to us.
Yeah, don't go thinking that we're not professionals that can do stuff off the cuff, because of course we are. However, I'm learning that it's also nice to have a little prep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. But truly send them because we love them. It's crazy.
Hang out now. That's all I'm posting.
Do it.
Is my personal page gone?
What do you mean?
Is the Haunted Sponge down? What's happening right now? Facebook's being weird to me.
Oh.
Maybe they're not happy with me. I have been upsetting
What have you done?
the powers.
Yeah.
That seems fine.
So you shared it to Facebook?
I shared it to Facebook. I'm going to post a thing on Twitter real quick. Boy, this is the fun of live entertainment.
I
in
know,
this
what
day
a
and age.
throll.
I watched some other live stream, and it was like the same thing, where it's just like
It always is.
Yeah, it always starts with going like,
How
"Can
can
you hear me?"
How can it not be kind of? Especially if you want to share it like when you're live. There's literally no other way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Delete that ish. Go over here. Are you posting in the group or on the main Facebook?
I'm sharing it to my Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry. Paste.
But
post.
you know what? I should share it to the group. I'm going to do that.
And we'd appreciate it if you would all consider sharing it as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get started in just a minute.
Yeah, we're
here.
just about done.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on over here. Yeah, goofiness is on the way. Don't worry about that, Christy.
It's a comment.
We two goofs. Awesome. Thank you, Eric. He sent us a
Awesome.
scary story.
Perfect. Oh, thanks for checking, Christy. That's good.
And cool. Well, done. You know, like they do in chess, where like they hit the clock?
Yeah. Bobby Fischer.
Yeah. Willie Fisher. Amy Fisher. Does anyone get that reference? Amy Fisher.
Amy Fisher.
Not gonna say it again. Amy Fisher.
So good.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Sick. Oh, I was gonna tell you something on the stream. So I've been working down in the basement all day. And
I'm listening. I'm just bringing my thing.
and from upstairs I heard Molly the dog barking, which is not uncommon. She'll frequently bark about at the window.
Yeah.
However, I had just taken her for a nice WALK outside.
Where is she?
I think she's upstairs.
Yeah.
It's cold down here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people put down salt and stuff, and it hurts her little feet.
Yeah.
So she was kind of like limping when I
You
had
didn't
taken
have
her
her
from the
shoes
walk.
on?
No, I try occasionally. It doesn't go great.
Put that balm on the bottoms of her feet. That's partially what it's for.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right about that. But so I took care of her. We came inside, and I toweled off her little feet. She loves towels.
Really?
Yeah, she does. If it's like raining, or if she just had a bath, obviously. But when you like bring out the towel, she starts like like hopping around and getting all excited.
Oh,
so I've started.
That's so cute. I'm totally gonna just like luxuriate her with towels when I take care of her at the end of next month.
I've tried
Will
to-
she do a dry towel?
I don't know.
Like,
I've
can
tried
I just
to,
like snuggle her?
I've tried to start doing it when there's no practical reason to, and she doesn't quite respond to it the same. So I think she knows, like, oh, I got rained on and I'm being dried off. I think she knows that, but I gave it a shot. So whatever. She seemed fine. She seemed cool. I came back downstairs to get back to work. Then I heard her barking upstairs, and the bark started going like, whoa, 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 ooh,
Like there's a person.
whoa, 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 and she doesn't howl,
Yeah.
and it was scary.
Yeah, that's freaky.
And I ran upstairs because I thought maybe something had happened, or she'd hurt herself, or her foot was in worse shape than I thought it was,
Right.
or something. And she just was sitting on the chaise lounge looking at me. Like, I don't know what was up with these like
she saw like a
morose.
child out the window. It
horror
seemed like it was a
hound
half
sounds.
day at school today. There were a lot of loud children outside my window, like
Oh, is that
teens.
right?
So maybe she caught wind of these teens cursing.
Maybe.
They were cursing very loudly at my window.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't like that.
Me neither.
Here, I'm gonna listen to something real quick because maybe I can play it on here. But I also make a lot of audio recordings on my phone that I don't know if I want to play. I took an audio recording. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me.
Of Molly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just make sure it's the right one.
Yeah, it is important to qualify Molly, Eric. You're right. Or like qualify the dog. I mean.
Is this anything?
Yeah, Chrissy, taking them out for walks is a pain
Okay, good.
in the ass.
Yeah, it's this. I don't know if this will play. It's also like super short. Molly doesn't howl. We have Kristen and
Yeah.
I have dogs that are siblings as well. Kristen has Crumbs. I have Molly. They're literally from the same litter.
Yep.
And they have bloodhound in them, a whole mess of different kinds of dogs. But thankfully, they don't seem to know about howling.
No.
However, Molly, maybe in her sleep, the bloodhound takes over. I've told you about this and never. I don't think you've ever experienced it, but Molly will be asleep. She didn't wake up. She's having a dream, and she will howl, and it almost always wakes me up, and it is very haunting.
I was about to say that's
and
haunting.
surprising every time.
Yeah.
I caught the tail end of one the other night.
Doggy tail.
And I kept waiting to see if she would do it again so I could capture the full thing. This is literally like 2 or 3 seconds of Molly in the middle of the night. This must be 3 or 4 in the morning.
I haven't experienced this.
Howling in her sleep.
Get out of here.
Yeah. That was less than 3 seconds. Here. And you can hear the voice, or voice at the end go like, ooh.
It's definitely not a yawn.
No.
Okay. That is so weird.
That's the tail end of the full thing is like, ooh.
In the middle of the night.
So it took me a little time to fumble for my phone. I recently installed a widget thing so that I can just start recording anything at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very frightening, but I love it.
Yeah, that's really cool and weird
Secretly,
and cute.
somewhere in her brain is the ability to howl.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it hasn't made it to the waking world.
He's done that, I think, just a couple of times, but it's been seizure related.
Oh,
I know, which is sad, but it definitely had there have been times where Ryan and I look at each other like, whoa.
Can you
It's
believe
kind
it?
of a howl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh man.
I love it.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
Aw.
scared the hell out of me.
I just learned so much about Molly.
Home Alone,
Yeah.
Molly howling all up. Maybe she is learning how to howl, but sounding calling for
little-
help is what it
yeah.
sounded like to me.
Yeah. Help!
You know what? Maybe it wasn't her.
Oh god.
The thought just struck me. Maybe it wasn't even her.
Have you, when you've gone to the dog park, which we don't go to a lot, but have you ever run into that lady who makes all the dogs howl with her?
Ugh, no. I think you've told me about her.
So
though.
weird. There's this woman at the dog park who, when she comes with her dog, she's like, "Come on, everybody, come on!" And she brings them to the edge of the dog park, and she's like, "Let's go!" Oh, oh.
It's both cute that she does that, but I don't want.
It is weird.
It's weird, and I wouldn't want my dog to learn.
Crumbs
how to
went
howl.
over and howled. Ryan and I were like, "Oh God!" I mean, this was years ago. We were
Yeah.
like, "Did she just unlock something?" But no.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. All right.
So weird.
The mysteries of dog society.
Oh,
Human-dog
God.
relations. All right.
Yep.
I'm ready if you are.
Yes, I'm ready.
And thank you all so much for joining us. If you have to
Yeah,
leave at any
thanks,
point,
guys.
the show we do tonight will be out on all major podcast apps and youtube.com/talkbomb on Friday. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you have
Yeah.
not before. And please, please, please tell your friends what we're doing here, both literally right now so they can join us
Mm-hmm.
and talk in the chat and stuff, and in general so that they might enjoy the show that we put out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can always dip in later if you need to dip out or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right.
In your own good time, Chrissy.
All right. Very good. Hello. Welcome to Guides to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
How you doing, Will?
I'm a little chilly
Yeah, it's chilly.
and a little silly.
I would argue a lot silly.
That might be true. I'm very excited for the show tonight, Kristen.
Yeah, me too. Now, you said you had something that you wanted to talk about. Well, besides your topic.
Yeah. I'll do that at the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give something of a cliffhanger between this episode and the next.
Interesting.
Next week's episode, I'm going to tell you a personal story.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I don't think I'm done accruing the experience yet. You'll understand more when I give the cliffhanger at the end of the show.
Will we all understand more, or I'll get something?
No,
do I know
we'll
about
all
this?
understand. I'm going to flat out say, hey, I'm doing X.
Oh, okay. Do I know about this already?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Nope,
Okay.
nope.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, so stick through to the end of the show if you want to hear what's going to happen next week.
Oh man.
I want everyone to be like, how did it go?
What? I don't like it when I don't know things you're doing.
Too bad.
Are you going to do something?
I already did something, and I'm going to keep doing it. All right. So anyway, every week, Kristen and I research.
I want you to go first now.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right.
Real
Well.
quick, whoa. I just do have one thing before you go first.
Uh-huh.
Okay, our mom called me just a
Oh,
little
right.
while ago to she called. I might be telling this a little bit wrong. I feel like I picked up and I was talking fast. I was like, "Hey, mom, I'm on my headphones. You might not be able to hear me, but I'm doing this because I have to be hands free because I'm doing a very fancy, healthy thing. I'm making vegetable broth." And mom was like, "I just have one thing to tell you: monsters under the bed." She said that I was afraid of alligators under my bed. when you were like a baby, so she thinks I was like around 3, and she said I would scream my head off about it, like in the middle of the night terror style, that there was an alligator under my bed.
Alligators?
Yeah. I don't remember this whatsoever, so I guess I must have mentally blocked it.
That's weird.
Or just don't remember the same way you don't remember certain things. But still, I have no recollection, but that is my... Our mom let us know that I, in fact, was afraid of a monster under the bed, the alligator.
How about that? That sounds like a meshing between the sort of classic monster under the bed and that idea of alligators in the sewers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the idea that people like have tiny pet alligators and they flush them down the toilet, the John.
Ugh, the head.
And they get down into the sewer system and grow to gargantuan size.
I will say alligators do freak me out. They are one
Really?
of the scarier animals of the animal kingdom to me.
They're just dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few animals I can't think of that's on my head where I'm just like, that's just a dinosaur. How do we reconcile this?
Yeah, there's something called like the fat bill stork or something that
Oh,
looks,
really?
'cause,
Yeah,
you know,
certain birds are
birds are
very...
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And there's one that's like particularly terrifying. It looks like an animatronic from Walt Disney World, except it's alive.
Yeah.
So its movement is very uncanny valley.
Ugh.
And it like winks and stuff. Anyway.
Weird.
Everybody Google Fat Bill Stork, and then hopefully at the top it'll say, "Did you mean?" with the right name, because I don't know it.
Or there's some poor guy named Bill Stork out there. The internet is roasting.
Old Fat Bill Stork.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
stop it!
I'm just trying to live.
It's a gland issue.
But yeah, so I was afraid of monsters under the bed.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mom.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank
All
you,
right,
Mom.
William, let's get to what your spoiler is. I don't even care about your topic. I just want to know what the hell you're sneaking around doing.
Too bad! I'm not
Go.
going to tell you until the end of the episode, and then you won't know more until next week.
Wait, you won't even tell us at the end of your segment?
No, I'll tell you at the end of the show.
Fine.
It's a cliffhanger for next week.
Then I should go first because that'll make it smoother, right?
Doesn't really matter.
It
It
kind
has
does.
nothing
if
to
it-
do with what I'm going to talk about
Oh, it doesn't?
tonight. No.
Oh, okay.
Not at
I
all.
thought it was like a two-parter thing.
No, it's
okay,
a total,
then go ahead.
total disconnect.
I gotcha.
It's just I'm pumped about what I already did for next week.
I gotcha.
The reason that I'm going to talk to you about this particular topic tonight is because everybody who's listening and or watching this is Guide to the Unknown episode 66.
Mm-hmm.
Get your kicks with Gttu 66.
Uh-huh.
Where I'm going to talk about the hauntings of Route 66.
Sweet. That's good. So wait, did you like drive? Well, I guess she trying.
No, it has nothing to do with this. I didn't drive Route 66. Is that what you were about to ask?
Yes.
That would take like
Not the whole
20
thing.
hours.
Not the whole thing.
All right.
You pain in the ass.
You got to forget about the
Okay,
tease
all right, okay.
until the end. It's not gonna. It has nothing to do with this.
It's really throwing me for a loop that there's been something going on behind the scenes.
I know it is.
I don't like it. Go
I
ahead.
thought of inviting you when I did this, and then I didn't do it.
Why? All right, go ahead.
You'll
go ahead.
understand. All right.
No, I guarantee you I won't understand. I'll intellectually hear you. I'll never understand.
There's still time.
Go ahead.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Route 66. I had a theory, essentially, that this is, one of the oldest highways in America. It spans from coast to coast. There's got to be some ghost stories.
Yeah.
That was my theory.
Uh-huh.
And episode 66 felt like the perfect time to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then I learned the truth.
No.
Route 66 does not span from coast to coast, and it doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh, really? I know like nothing about it. I just know Get Your Kicks on Route 66, and I think there was like a Kmart brand called Route 66.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
There was like an old show in like the 60s as well. But yeah, no, it was like an old highway that was originally built to connect from Chicago to Santa Monica, I
Okay.
think, something like that. But then it was eventually decommissioned and parts of it were replaced over time. But I think there are still large stretches of road that are just unused.
Oh, okay.
I've also heard that maybe those large paths of road are going to eventually be turned into a bike highway,
Oh, that's cool.
which is,
Yeah.
pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, Kristen, forget all about that boring stuff because Route 66 is more than just some, Bobby Troop composition.
What?
That's the guy who wrote Get Your Kicks on Route
Oh.
66. Though, of course, the famous recording was by Nat King Cole.
Of course.
And also, I lied because I am going to tell you some boring stuff first.
Okay.
So, Route 66 is called Main Street America, the Mother Road, or the Will Rogers Highway.
Oh my God, get out of here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Kismet.
Yeah.
Serendipity.
Absolutely.
Synchronicity.
Amazing.
There's a plaque which reads, dedicated to Will Rogers, 1952.
What is this? East Brunswick High School. There was a plaque of Will in the high school years after he graduated. It was sickening.
We don't know that that's true.
Don't you though?
I thought it was a joke that someone said. I don't know.
I wanted to go look at it and like somebody wouldn't let me or something. Remember?
Yeah, Kristen's not allowed to go within 50 yards of a school.
I went back to the high school we both went to separately to do like recruiting for beauty school, and I was like, I heard that there's a plaque with my brother on it because he won Mr. EBHS, and I really don't remember. This was like 10 years ago, but they were like, oh, you can't go to the library right now. Maybe there was a test or something.
Yeah,
But,
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
That is
I mean, I don't think
true.
it's there now.
No, I
but
definitely
yeah.
think it's not there now. and
Yeah.
I'm sure it was not there several years after I left.
Maybe.
I won a male beauty pageant.
Yep.
Believe it or not, it was all meant to be a joke. But I won it.
That's right.
So anyway, the plaque says, Will Rogers, humorist, traveler, good neighbor. This main street of America, Highway 66, was the first road he traveled in a career that led him straight to the hearts of his countrymen. And I intend to do the
Very-
same. It will reach the hearts of my countrymen. All right, let's get spooky.
Okay.
Oddly enough, a lot of my information here, similar to how last week when I was talking about Monsters Under the Bed, a lot of my stuff came from Mommy Daddy blogs.
Yeah.
A good chunk of my data about Route 66 hauntings comes from carrentals.com.
Weird. I love that. That's like when I remember when I did Banshees, it was all from an engagement ring website.
Yeah, it's listen, I really respect any
Yeah.
company that's like, and
They're trying to put out like interesting content. I know it's an annoying
I
word,
know.
but like they're trying to put out interesting material.
and it's
Yeah.
inventive and it's approachable,
Totally.
and I appreciate it.
I do too.
So there you go. There's a list, and I've curated some of the best stories for the topic tonight.
Amazing.
So Route 66 is long abandoned, and it's covered with old gas stations, abandoned buildings. There's even an entire ghost town
Oh.
attached to Route 66. There used to be a place called Baghdad, California. And eventually, I think it was a mining town, and eventually it was completely abandoned. And as of today, it has been completely razed to the ground. If you go there, there's basically not any sign that a full town used to exist on that spot.
Weird.
Yeah, and
That's so
strange.
strange.
I
I mean, do they do that for the purpose of then rebuilding or putting something over it?
don't think so, because I think that
Why?
there's
Why
like
even do anything to it then? I guess to prevent like squatters or
get
something.
rid of it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. It's just
Weird.
unsafe to have.
Yeah, structures that like nobody's paying attention to or maintaining. Yeah.
I also this is like neither here nor there, but I do have a passing fascination with the idea of a ghost town, just an entire civilization
Yeah.
that used to exist and now doesn't.
Yeah, totally.
And I rewatched because Chrissy here wrote an article about the Zodiac, the movie Zodiac.
Yep.
I rewatched the movie for the gajillionth time, and for the first time caught a line where they reference Lake Berryessa, which is where one of the Zodiac killings happened. But they mention how Lake Berryessa is a man-made lake, and there used to be a town on that spot, but they flooded it to make a
Oh.
lake.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Crazy? That's
Yeah.
Atlantis.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
what happened to Atlantis.
I know. I watched an episode of In Search of about Atlantis not that long ago. It was a little too long. Probably didn't need to be double length. But what I watched was good.
Of course, Allie and I were on a cruise, and we went to Atlantis.
Atlantis Resort.
Yes. I got like a $20 pizza that was clearly like a microwaved DiGiorno.
Was it good?
It was delicious. All right. It's not delivery. It's delicious.
Yeah.
So here are a few haunted spots. Let's talk first about the Tri-County Truck Stop. This is in Missouri.
Ooh.
It's also known as the Diamonds Restaurant, and essentially this is just like a huge truck stop / diner. It seemed like it was a hot spot for people to go get your sweet country ham.
Ooh.
Crunch it up.
Ew. What's wrong
Probably
with your
shouldn't be crunchy.
Yeah, what's wrong with your ham?
You bit too deep, you got the bone. So
Or it's bacon, which is better.
exactly, Kristen, exactly. So I found a lot of my information for this truck stop on, and I advise everybody to go here, paranormaltaskforce.com/Tri-County.
Okay.
This is an organization of ghost hunters. It looks like the website was built in the 90s.
Excellent.
And it looks, at first blush, like it has not been updated since
Yeah.
the 90s.
Perfect.
However,
my favorite kind of websites.
I
on this
found
show.
updates on that site as recently as 2015.
Oh, okay. So they're just like adding to it, but no need to restructure.
Right.
No need to update.
I'm going to say things that are going to sound like I'm making fun
Mm-hmm.
of this website, but I'm poking fun at this website. I love it.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah, if you guys have listened to a bunch of other shows, you might know that we have a real affection for like old websites like this, and it's genuine, even though we also might like poke fun.
Exactly. Now, each page that you go to, it'll have like a hot pink background, and all the text is crammed to the left side of the screen for some reason in a column like a newspaper article.
Yeah.
And it's just walls of text. Like way too much information for me to sift through reliably to get a full picture of the investigations the Paranormal Task Force has done. However, I will tell you this. There's a lot of evidence on that website of ghostly activity happening at the Tri-County
Truck stop?
truck stop. Yeah. I forgot what it was called already. But no, they you'll read a thing and then you'll see a bunch of links and it'll be like, here's the time that I saw the blue ghost, and that's a clickable thing. So I'd click on it expecting to be brought to an article about what the blue ghost is, and suddenly a file would download to my computer.
What the hell was that?
It was a video file, which I opened, which was grainy footage of a dark room. I could not make out any shapes, and it was playing, and there was just static. Just hit play, and to the point where I'm like, what is this? And just when I got to the point where I was like, all right, what stupid piece of, like debris am I going to see float across the screen that's purported to be a ghost?
Yeah.
A gigantic blue thing flies across the screen from right to left and just goes over and down and over and out, and the video ends. And it scared the hell out of me.
Weird.
It was great.
Yeah.
They have uploaded dozens, seemingly, of files of EVPs of voices going, listen,
Ugh.
or I need help. Footage of ghostly activity happening, and it really struck a chord with me. I really loved it.
This sounds great.
And I think that there are a lot of people who would look at that website and especially look at the abundance of footage available from that website and go like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, just like write it off.
Yeah, these are just some people who who put a bunch of cameras in this old abandoned building, and look at all this stuff they claim they found. I'm telling you now, I really enjoyed it, and it's almost too much information.
Yeah. This
You
sounds
know?
great. What's this called again, the website?
paranormaltaskforce.com/Tri-County.
Okay.
I didn't even get into any of their other
Yeah, right.
stuff.
I can't believe that you're just talking about an abundance of information just about this one subject.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
crazy.
focusing just on the
Yeah.
Tri-County truck stop. They have so much
Cool.
information going back years and years of investigations they've done at this place.
Yeah.
Tons of footage. I really love it.
That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna look at that.
Yeah, and
I wonder if they've like migrated. If they stopped in 2015, I wonder if they've migrated to like updating a Facebook page or something.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
that. Like maybe they're still documenting this stuff, but they were just like, like personal blogs and websites aren't as much the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they went to social media or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to just like way back when we talked about the Chupacabra and we found that like
The Chupacabra homepage.
the Chupacabra homepage hidden on Princeton University's servers.
Yeah.
I saved every website back then so that if and when Princeton goes like, why is this on here?
Yeah,
Get
right.
rid of it. I have it.
That's awesome.
I saved everything.
Awesome.
I want to do the same thing for this website because someday
excited to see
the
this.
old internet's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And I also have to wonder how many abandoned websites are there of paranormal activity
Yeah.
of people that were like, this isn't footage that was, polished and curated and uploaded to YouTube and like where like the thing that's happening is circled.
Yeah.
It's raw footage that feels very found footagey, Blair Witchy, but it's real.
Yeah.
And I really love it. I
Yeah.
really love the vibe. So I highly advise everybody go check out that website. But here's, aside from just talking about how much I love a website,
Yeah.
let me tell you some actual stuff. So there's a story about a man named Mr. William Bates. Bates supposedly lived in the basement of the Tri-County
The
truck
basement?
stop. The basement. He was short, and had the appearance of a vagrant. And according to witnesses, the last time anyone saw him, he had gotten into an altercation with somebody. And it resulted in him running out of the truck stop and into the woods nearby.
Oh, my God.
He was never seen again.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The Paranormal Task Force has a sort of a call to action on their website where it's
Like, if you've seen him?
yeah, or can you give us any information? Because this also might just be a story. There's not even evidence that this man existed.
Oh, interesting.
So it could just be a story.
Yeah, it's just legend, maybe.
But yeah, people have then seen and heard voices that are believed to have been Mr. William Bates.
That's awesome.
Yep. The
I am
paranormal.
into this.
I love it. I love it. The Paranormal Task Force has extensive research. There was one event somewhat recently, I think this was in like 2013 or 14, where they went in and one of the investigators took some damage. He got a long scratch on his leg. But, Kristen, the most frightening part, the sock was undamaged.
Wait. What?
The sock.
What do you mean the sock was undamaged?
For the first time in 20 years of ghost hunting, I was scratched during an investigation. It was on my right leg, over 6 inches long, running vertically down my leg to below the top of my sock. The sock was undamaged. But the scratch ran underneath it.
I get his point. That is weird.
It is weird. It was just funny.
How'd you get inside the sock? Did it pull out the sock just so?
It was a ghost hand.
And scratch down there and then let the sock release?
I don't know.
Return to the skin?
Pull the sock back up. I don't know. Again, poking fun at it because I love it, not making fun of it. I
understand
believe there
that.
is a
Yeah.
difference. Yeah. So,
That really is freaky, though. What the hell?
yeah, I don't know. But honestly, a lot of the footage is like I said about the blue ghost footage that I saw.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
There's just enough to lull you in and make you go like, this is going to be nothing. And
Right,
then
like, I
bam, you're
can't
hit
see
with
anything.
something, and then it's out. It's over.
Yeah.
It's like 20 seconds long tops.
Is it just a color, basically? Like, is there any real shape to it?
Yeah, it looked like it looked like a Pac-Man ghost.
Okay.
Not obviously a solid color of blue. It looked like it had depth to it. It looked like it was like if you put a sheet over my head and I walked around,
Yeah.
it would look kind of like that, but then you've got to like up the transparency so you can see
Right,
through it
right.
and make it completely blue and even more featureless. Like it looked like sort of an oval and then kind of maybe it went to shoulders all covered by material.
Yeah, yeah.
But not physically there.
Right.
Like it was a spirit, it was a light. It was
Right.
an energy.
Right. That's awesome.
That's great.
That sounds like a great video. I'm
It was
definitely going to look
great.
at that.
I don't know what to tell you. But it also gives me anxiety because most websites don't work like this.
Yeah.
It's not some magic they're doing where you click a thing and it downloads. That's fine. That's whatever. Just no one does that really.
Right.
So every time I would click something, I would, even the 30th time I clicked on something,
Yeah.
I was always expecting a new tab to open.
Right. That would be unnerving a
And
little.
instead, boop, it would drop another video onto my hard drive.
Yeah.
Downloading, and so I was just
So
downloading
that's
a
all
bunch
just
of
like saved to your computer now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just downloading a bunch of like, terrifying ghost footage
Yeah.
unwittingly. And it started making me think like, I really hope the methods of transfer of demons are not what they say in The Ring.
Yeah, right. This isn't a cursed not JPEG, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because now we're in like a terrible straight to video movie where it's like, I live streamed from my haunted desktop.
Right.
Like everybody watching this right now is watching it from a camera connected to a hard drive that has ghosts in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That movie is gonna have the format like Unfriended or Searching.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna be able to see the chat people are gonna be freaking out and be like, oh my god, what's happened to Will and Kristen?
Whoa.
Sounds like a good movie.
Yeah. Let's get working on it. All right, so let's go to a freaky occurrence that happens on Route
Okay.
66. Let's talk about the spook light.
Oh.
AKA the Hornet light, the Hollis light, and the Joplin spook light.
I really like all of those names.
I know. I love, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
if you were like, yeah, I saw the Joplin spook light.
Yeah, the Horus light.
Yep, perfect.
I'm really getting my kicks here, Will.
So this is a light that appears in a small area known as the Devil's Promenade.
Oh my god.
On the border between southwestern Missouri and northeastern Oklahoma. It's just outside of Hornet, Missouri.
Ooh.
Great name of a place.
God, this story's really killing it with names.
Yeah, and just like any other thing where there are a bunch of different eyewitness reports, there is some debate over what it really is. Some people say it's a singular orb of light. Some say it's a bunch of little lights clustered together to give the appearance of being one single thing. It's been spotted in backyards of people's houses. It's been spotted both near and far from witnesses, so you might see it over yonder the hills,
Yeah.
or you might see it right here.
Oh, man.
Some say it's a ball of light. Some say it resembles a camping lantern floating a few feet off the ground.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I have this quote. Although the description of the light is similar to that of other visual phenomena witnessed throughout the world, the term spook light, when standing alone, generally refers to this specific case. So,
interesting.
will-o'-the-wisps, move aside. You're not a spook light. The spook light is specifically this light from just outside of Hornet, Missouri.
Awesome. It's in a class all its own.
Yep. The first documented case was in 1881, but no one outside of the local community would really talk about it until around the end of World War II. In 1946, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers studied the Hornet light, but could not find any cause for it. In their words, it was a mysterious light of unknown origin,
What?
according to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
What the hell?
Uh-huh. In the 60s
Love
and 70s,
that.
it became
Love that.
a quirky tourist attraction. There was a spooklight museum that opened.
What?
And now let's debunk.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we figured some things out.
You gotta debunk.
Okay, let's debunk.
We gotta this bunk.
Yeah.
Since it's in a very hilly area, some people say...
Gases.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
one of the theories is that it's gases interacting with electrical currents in the area. Like will-o'-the-wisp, we found out was stinky old bog gas igniting. But some of the biggest claims of what this actually is are that because there are a ton of hills around there, it's actually the headlights from cars as cars are driving up and down stuff, and people are seeing it from far away, and it looks like some weird light that's moving around, but it's just car headlights.
But, like, how would the Army whatever not figure that out?
I'll explain why. A writer for Popular Mechanics magazine, Robert Gannon, flashed his headlights on Route 66, and then later there were a bunch of sightings of spook lights,
Oh.
which
What?
headlights, it's headlights, it's headlights. However, people have pointed out that because the sightings go all the way back to the 1800s,
Yeah, right.
not all of them
Yeah,
could possibly be headlights.
right.
So this is a case of confirmation bias, potentially. People go there expecting to see the spook lights. It became an attraction.
Yeah.
And then they see all these headlights and they, whoa!
I guess
Those are
so.
headlights. They're not the spook lights. People have been seeing the spook lights for 200 years.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around, though, how you wouldn't figure out that something is a headlight. Like, they come in twos. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get how you could... I'm not saying that's not what was happening, but, like, I don't get it.
I don't know, eagerness to be part of something?
But two things that are, like, 2 feet apart or whatever. But don't they say that they're singular?
Well, that's why there's also a dispute about whether or not it's a singular ball of light, or occasionally several lights clustered close together. It's a car. That's a headlight. However, my thing is, maybe the Army Corps of Engineers, when they showed up, they saw the true spook lights. They saw the real deal
Yeah.
Holyfield.
Yeah.
And the other people who claimed to see the spook lights, a lot of them saw cars. And
But maybe
even
some of them
people,
saw real spook lights.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe even some of the debunkers went there and saw the spook light, the actual thing, and went, we already know. We saw all the other things. They were cars. Look, that's a car too,
Right, it's
but
like
it's
the-
actually the spook light.
Right. It's like the opposite side of confirmation bias. They're both confirmation bias,
Yes.
but just in different directions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I don't get how you could see car headlights, and I just don't get it. It's so distinct.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I agree
But,
with you.
yeah.
I agree with you. But either way, the spook lights along
Yeah.
Route 66.
I mean, that's awesome. I love that. Like, do you remember the Unsolved Mysteries segment about these mysterious lights? I'll cover that on the show sometime soon.
there are a lot of
People-
mystery lights.
Yes, there are, but there's another one that reminds me of this a little bit. I'll cover it soon.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget,
I don't know.
actually.
But speaking of unsolved mysteries, they took a trip on Route 66 as well.
Oh,
and
cool.
They ended up at this next stop, the Hotel Monte Vista in
la la.
Flagstaff, Arizona, which Unsolved Mysteries did an episode on, and I believe for good reason. HotelMontevista.com has a bunch of information about hauntings within the hotel.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Oh, I
tell
love
you
that.
about the 3 best ones.
Cool.
First of all, room 305. There are reports of a woman in a rocking chair sitting next to the windows. Guests and housekeepers have seen the chair move on its own accord and even heard knocking coming from inside the closet.
Ugh.
This is believed to be the spirit of an old woman who had been a long-term renter of that room. And she used to spend most of her time sitting by the window waiting for something, waiting for someone.
Death?
And so, when will I die? Yeah. All right, I died.
Her true calling was to become this ghost.
Now when will something else happen?
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Still waiting.
But I'm already dead. But so people are saying, you know, what was she waiting for back then? And is she still waiting now?
Love it.
The woman at night.
Okay.
The red light district used to be just about 2 blocks away from the hotel. And in the 1940s, 2 sex workers were brought into a room 306, just next door to the ghost lady,
wow.
or across the hall.
The third floor really had a lot of action.
Oh, it did. And hey, let's talk about trickle-down economics.
Yeah.
Their bodies trickled down. They were killed in room 306 and thrown out the window.
Oh my God.
Yeah, their bodies were tossed out the window and they fell 3 stories to the ground.
Oh my God.
To this day, guests will report waking up in the middle of the night and being unable to get back to sleep because of the overwhelming feeling of someone or something standing in the room staring at them.
Ugh.
Worse still, in particular, male visitors to this room report having a feeling of hands placed over their mouths and throats and suddenly awakening in the night unable to breathe.
Oh my God.
Perhaps some sort of revenge
Yeah.
against the attackers.
Yeah. Is it like 4 hands? Did it say? It's like
I don't know. I mean,
a feeling of too many hands holding you down.
way too many hands.
Yeah.
Well, the hand stuff continues because now I'm going to talk about the meat man.
Oh.
The meat man. Just downstairs in room 220, 2nd floor.
Oh my God.
In the early 1980s, we're talking about barely 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Not yet 40 years ago. A long-term boarder had the odd habit of hanging raw meat from the chandelier.
I can't imagine the things that people who work in hotels see.
Well, that's an odd habit.
Yeah.
He died in that room and was not found for 3 days.
Yeah.
Not long after, a maintenance man was doing some repairs in that room, and he needed a different piece from what he had, so he got up, he walked out of the room, closed the door behind him, and locked it.
Uh-huh.
He went and got the piece, he came back, he opened the door, the TV was blaringly loud, and the bed sheets had been torn up and thrown all around the room.
There's bacon hanging from the chandelier.
Smells like bacon. Yeah. Today, it's common for the
Oh my
television to
God.
act on its own, and there are reports of cold male hands touching guests in their sleep.
Hammy hands, I'll bet.
The Meat Man.
That is really creepy.
Other awesome stuff.
These are really good stories.
I love them. I love it. I love doing these sort of like around the world
Yeah.
things too. So once again, go to hotelmontevista.com to get more stories because there are a bunch more. I just picked the 3 best ones.
Yeah. I love when a place leans into their haunted history.
So do I.
May as well.
But there are all other stories like the baby in the basement. The staff has to run out of there sometimes, Kristen, because the sound of a baby crying happens in the basement.
God, that's awful.
There's the story of the dancing couple. Seemingly a couple in love, still dancing, tripping the night away.
Tripping the Light Fantastic?
Yep.
Yep.
The Phantom Bellboy, which
Ooh.
John Wayne is said to have seen.
Ooh.
The Little Boy, the Elevator Attendant, Poltergeists, and the Shadowed Man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If any of you guys have been to the Hotel Monte Vista, I would like to hear about it. You guys can email us at gttupod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Along with any other haunted stories you've got.
Well, yes, that too. This sounds awesome.
Yeah. And our final stop on Route 66 is going to be a short one. It's just a lovely little concept that I really enjoyed reading.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to you very briefly about the Coleman Theater in Oklahoma.
Okay.
There are said to be several hauntings going on in this theater. It's like a grand old theater. It looks beautiful from the photographs that I've seen. And some of the ghosts that have been sighted there are seen in the dressing rooms. Ghostly performers that appear to be getting ready to step on stage.
Ooh. Ooh, there's an American, or what am I saying? There's a celebrity ghost stories with Anna Gasteyer where she talks about a haunted theater that she was performing in, and I wonder if it could be this.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
May or
I
may not.
assume there were probably a lot of haunted theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there you have it.
That's
a little tour
awesome.
of one of the oldest roads in America that is
Yeah.
no longer.
Huh.
Now Route 66 is a ghost road itself.
Yeah.
And lost
How
along
does something
its
become
lengths.
a ghost road? Like, how is it just unused? What happens?
It was just replaced. It seemed like some bureaucratic thing because I was reading it and honestly it was boring, but it was like,
Yeah.
the U.S. highway system was replaced by the interstate highway system.
Okay, I
And,
already
like,
don't understand, and I
who cares?
already don't care.
Who cares? It just
Yeah.
was replaced.
Yeah.
And I believe that a lot of the stretches of the road were repurposed,
Mm-hmm.
so connected to new parts of streets or whatever. But I do think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of Route 66 that remains unused.
Well,
and uncared
also,
for.
I wonder if Route 66 is still intact in another dimension. There's
yeah.
there's another timeline of stuff maybe sitting on top of ours where Route 66 is thriving and those ghosts are using it to go back and forth.
It's an interesting idea, especially because you think of certain things like, let's imagine that there are parallel universes where different versions of history have played out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about seeing the effects of that in a place as big and dense as New York City,
Yeah.
there might be people from the other universe that blink into existence in our realm
Yeah.
and then blink back out, but we don't notice because there's millions of people milling about walking the
Right,
streets.
they're camouflaged
Who
effectively.
knows? Maybe all of a sudden, if you were observing Route 66, just boink,
Yeah.
like a building would appear that shouldn't be there, and then boink, it's gone.
Right.
And you'd only notice it because
There's nothing else there.
there should be nothing there at all.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, a lone traveler on the road at night,
Yeah. That's
filling your dreams to the brim with fright.
I love that kind of stuff. Have you ever seen the meme where it's a gorilla who's like looking like he's talking to a bunch of kids, like explaining something, and the text says, "What my book presupposes is, what if General Custer didn't lose, or whatever it is." It's a gorilla being like, "Oh," and a bunch of kids being rapped.
That's weird. Isn't that a line from
Yes, it's from
the Royal
yeah,
Tenenbaums?
yeah.
Yeah. We all know Custer died at the Battle of Little Bighorn, but what my book presupposes is maybe he didn't.
Yes, it's exactly that, and it's a gorilla being like, like looking.
Why is it a gorilla?
I think somebody just found a funny picture of a gorilla looking like they're explaining
like-
something and being smart to like a bunch of kids who are like listening.
Okay, so it's a photograph. It's not a drawing.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's a photograph.
That's pretty funny.
Really
Yeah.
botched this, but yeah.
Well, maybe you said that, but in my head, I immediately pictured like a Far Side cartoon.
It was just a funny picture of a gorilla.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, yeah, there you have it. There you have it.
Right.
Maybe someday we will do our own travels. along
Yeah.
Route
Maybe
66.
maybe someday, and maybe along those travels we go to Tacoma, Washington. Will, do you know what's in Tacoma, Washington?
Washingtonians.
Yes. Many.
Wait, is that where Twin Peaks is?
Tacoma?
No, that's like
Well-
Susquehanna or something.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, but no, I don't. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know where Twin Peaks is.
Yeah.
But no, the childhood home of Ted Bundy is there.
Oh, no.
I know, and it is said to be haunted, according to one newspaper article from 2017 that I came across
What is this? How did you find this?
from a newspaper called the News Tribune, which sounds made up. No disrespect.
The News Tribune.
No disrespect.
Wow.
Yeah. I found it.
That's like calling your newspaper like the Daily Weekly or something.
Right. The actual newspaper.
Right.
Is the name of this newspaper. I can't take credit. It's not like I like dug through the archives. People are sharing a lot of stuff about Ted Bundy right now
True.
because the Ted Bundy tapes came out on Netflix this weekend. So
Yeah.
like in a bunch of different like horror or true crime groups I'm in, like people are just like sharing stuff. And somebody shared this somewhere and I was like, excuse me.
Pardon me, I'd like that.
Yeah.
T. Buns is really living it up.
I was nudging people out of the way to get myself to that article.
Ted Bundy goss. Ted Theodore
Ooh.
Bundy.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, I share it on our social media, but if you go on YouTube and search for Guilty Party Ted Bundy, then you can see Will and I talking about Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about his crimes here tonight or anything. I'm going to talk about his childhood home, which went up for sale, and then during the process of reconstructing it and flipping it, like a bunch of weird, spooky stuff happened.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm going to quickly recap. I'm not going to go into it, but who Ted Bundy is just on the off chance or whatever. So he was...
Bad man.
Yeah, not a goodie. He was a big-time serial killer. He's known for being hot, which is like debatable, and also maybe not known for this, but he's a dork. When investigators asked him if the 36 murders that were kind of like linked and attributed to him were, if that was the right number, he said, add one digit to that and you'll have it. What?
Right, yeah. Good
So
one?
like 136 or 37
37?
or 631? What?
What?
Could you imagine him like leaning back in his chair and like saying that, like, add one digit, then you'll have it? What a mastermind.
Methinks a digit is missing.
Okay, Ted.
Methinks a mischief I will do. All right, Ted.
So nerdy.
All right, Ted.
All right. So he grew up in this house in Tacoma, Washington. It was built in 1946, which is the year that Ted was built. It's the year he was born, so that's kind of weird.
The year that Ted was built.
That'll be my new Netflix special about Ted Bundy that gets everybody talking about the year that Ted was built. So this house and Ted were both built in 1946, and then he and his family moved into it in 1955. And he lived there during his childhood. No major events to speak of, except there was a girl who went missing from either his neighborhood directly or the area. She went missing when she was 8 years old, and her name was, I guess you would say, Anne Marie Burr. She was 8 years old. She was never found or anything, and Ted Bundy was 14. So he is still officially a suspect in that murder, just because
Really?
he wasn't ruled out. It's not, there's just like nothing to. It's just inconclusive. He says that he didn't do it, but again, obviously he's very shifty with what he did and didn't do, and played very coy and stuff like that. He wrote a letter to her mother after he was in prison, and I think that maybe rumor got out that like maybe, oh, we caught this guy for all this stuff, and he grew up in this area where Anne Marie Burr went missing. Maybe he did this. He wrote a letter to her mother saying that he didn't do it, but again, I feel like you just can't trust anything this guy said.
I don't like the idea that he would
Even
reach out.
It's like cruel. There's
Yeah.
just no need to do it. But I'm only even mentioning that to say that like nothing overtly scary or criminal or murders that we know have happened while he was living in this house. He just grew up there, and then when he became an adult, he started murdering people and everything. So years and years later, like I think kind of around the time that this article came out, so I'm assuming like in the 20 teens, a guy named David Trong, I think it's pronounced, bought the house just to flip it. It
Okay.
was just, up or whatever. And he hired a contractor named Casey Clopton to fix it up. An excellent name. So So Clopton didn't know the history of the house. He was just hired to come in to this house that was like all messed up and fix it up so that this guy could then sell it. And when he came in for the first time to kind of like do a walk around and see like what needs to be done and everything, he came with his 11-year-old daughter, because and it actually sounds kind of cute. I'm probably reading too much into it, but she would take notes while he said out loud what needed to be done. It sounds like kind of a nice like father-daughter bonding thing.
I really love the idea of that. Take a
Yeah.
note.
Yeah, like he'd be walking around and be like, okay, that pipe needs to be fixed, whatever, and like his sweet daughter's like writing it down. Flip side, this was a huge pain in the ass for the daughter, and her dad made her do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course,
Like
yeah.
just still in a nice way. I mean, not
Yeah.
scary, but like to me it's cute. I'm sure to her she's like, yeah, my dad made me do it. It's so boring.
It does sound like one of those things that's like, that's the golden
Yeah, like they love spending
imagination
time
idea
together.
of like having a kid.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if I had a kid and they were fascinated with everything I said? How incredibly validating and important that would be for me.
Oh, they loved audio.
Chucky, Chucky, I got another joke for you. Ready, Pop?
Yeah, that's the Crumbs voice.
Hit me with a joke, Pop.
I'd love to hear that joke, Pop. That's how Crumbs
Well,
talks.
here it comes, sucker.
So Casey Clopton brought his daughter
Yeah.
to take notes on what he was saying as he walked through the house to figure it out. But she was freaked out by this house. They came in and she said she felt weird in it when she didn't like it there. She wanted to be left alone in any rooms, which I assume means that like he'd go to the next room to like see what's up here, maybe while she's still writing something in the previous room. And she was like, no, don't leave me alone, and kept like really following after him and was just like very unsettled by it. And they ended up leaving early because she started crying. She just like wanted to get out.
Wow.
Next week, so he doesn't go back or anything. They leave. The next week, he goes in there with the demolition guy, who comes in and also feels weird. He also starts crying. He didn't. I'm kidding. But,
That'd be awesome.
I know. But apparently, the demolition guy was also like felt like something felt weird in here. Like he kind of felt unsettled.
Yeah.
So things, as they're doing the process of like fixing this house up, started happening that Clopton assumed were pranks that the crew were like pulling on each other and stuff. There was one day where they unlocked the door, like, you know, nobody had been there or anything, walked in, and kind of classic, like, haunted house thing, all the cabinets and drawers were open. Like, everything's pulled out, everything's open.
Yeah.
There was a time where the crew was cleaning out the flooded basement, and "Help Me" was written on a glass window, which is weird. So that's just kind of like little things where you're like, oh, they're like joking around or whatever. And then stuff started getting more real, where it was harder to explain away with being like, oh, that's them like messing around. While the crew was downstairs, a heavy dresser and it said it was inset in the hallway wall. So I imagine it was kind of like, not a built-in thing, but I almost imagine there was like an alcove in the hallway or something that this dresser was kind of pushed
Just
into.
fit right into.
Yeah, fit perfectly into. It said that a heavy dresser that was inset in the hallway wall scooched itself out from that. Well, I didn't watch it happen, but like it came out enough. It scooched itself out of that spot and fell face forward while the crew was downstairs. Like they heard a huge noise and they went upstairs and they were like, how is this even possible? And again, I'm inferring a little bit based on them talking about it being inset. I imagine that the way it was inset, it wouldn't be able to fall over if it was back into it because the ceiling would be right there. So it was like moved out enough that it could fall forward. And they said that this was like a really, really heavy dresser that like they needed more than one guy to move.
I don't like that.
No, that's weird, right?
That makes me think of Rosemary's Baby, where there was the armoire or whatever the hell.
That's in front of that door.
That's in front of a door, and nobody knows there's a door behind it, but they were trying to block the door with this heavy piece of furniture.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody was in the alcove
Ugh.
and had to push the thing forward to get out.
Ugh. Well, that would play into kind of a question that the guy had about whether there could have been break-ins or something going on in here. So that happened. Phones that were plugged in, just as the crew plugged in during the day, started getting unplugged. Like they would just be unplugged from the wall.
What year is this? What are you talking about?
It was
Cell
in, like,
phones?
Yeah, like in the the 2010s. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
This article is from 2017, and it seemed like it had happened like not too long before.
Right,
It wasn't
okay.
like an old story or anything.
Gotcha.
So yeah, their phones would just be unplugged, and like they would die automatically. Just like, what the hell? They were, doing a lot of work, so there would be like dust around and stuff. And apparently, in one room, there was a bunch of sheetrock dust on the floor, and the word "leave" was written in it, and there were no footprints or anything else around that dust. So it just seemed like, how did this get there? So when those things started happening, that were a little. First of all, these pranks keep going on and nobody's copping to it.
Right.
They're starting to get a little bit harder to explain. So then Clopton ended up asking neighbors if they had heard of any break-ins in the area, because they were like, this is weird, maybe there's an explanation. And by talking to the neighbors, ended up finding out that it had been Ted Bundy's house. Like, he didn't know that part of it.
Yeah.
So when he found out, he did a couple of things. But one of the things he did was that he called a pastor. And that pastor brought another pastor buddy with him, and they went room to room blessing the house and reading scripture room to room. And then this is something interesting. It's just like such a small detail, but I kind of really latched onto it. In the article, it said that the pastors suggested to the crew that they continue to play Christian music while working, which implies to me that they were already playing Christian music while working.
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, were they just listening to Christian music because it was like their jam, or were they freaked out so they'd started playing Christian music and the pastors were like, that's good, keep that up.
That's good. Yeah.
Right?
Put on the switchfoot.
Wow.
We were meant to live for so much more.
Wow. Wow. Keep that Creed coming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they called scripture music or Christian music or whatever. They're just like bumping Creed, and they're like, more of that. Keep that.
Keep that
that's
going.
Good.
Yeah. Play the music video where Scott Stapp flings his arms out, Christ-like pose.
Yeah.
Which one? All of them?
The demons hate that one.
Yes, all of them.
Yeah.
Play the Scream 3 Creed video,
Ooh,
where
over
Dewey
and
makes
over.
an appearance.
Sweet cameo, and it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
The ending doesn't make sense.
Lick of sense.
Oh my God, we're such nerds about Scream that we know that there's an ending to the Creed music video that doesn't seem to add up.
Doesn't fit. It can't be canon.
There's no way that's canon. Don't get me started. So,
Every marathon I do of Scream involves that Creed music video so that I can see everything that Dewey was in.
absolutely, it's not. Even though it's not canon, it's still not the entire experience unless you've watched that video. Correct. So, and then this was another thing that is very cool and very weird. So the pastors told them to keep listening to the Christian music and also suggested to them that they write scripture on the walls of the house in pencil so that it would be covered when it's painted over, but still, like, you're kind of imbuing that into the walls. So they did that, and it's not visible because it was then painted over, but it's almost like they, like, pressed these scriptures into the walls of, like, protective action.
Isn't that the same as if you, like, ripped down your drywall and saw, like, satanic carvings? Just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
That unbeknownst to you.
Yes, underneath your paint, there's scripture.
Yeah, there's like, I think, Christianity is so common and familiar that we don't consider it, like, mythical writing.
It's still pretty.
But it is. It's like a mystical thing to do,
occult.
to be writing scripture.
Yes. Absolutely. You're talking about something that's, like, by its nature, like, mystical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, you're writing that on the walls of a home with the intent for it to do something to
really
those walls.
Strange. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It's very weird.
Yes.
And awesome.
It is awesome.
So that happened. And then Clopton talked to Trong, if I'm pronouncing right, but the guy who had bought the house in order for it to be flipped.
Yeah.
And his real estate broker. This is so dumb. I don't know why I wrote this down. Okay, when when you're researching something, I was flipping back and forth through screens. I'd like read something and then write it or whatever. I thought I remembered this guy's name, so I wrote it down. And I wrote down William J. Pitts III.
Not his name?
No, it's kind of close. It's James Pitts III.
Oh, okay. At least there's a third. If you had, like, concocted that out of
I
thin
know.
air, I'd have concerns.
I still think that the name William J. Pitts III is fine.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Really good name. So he told the owner guy and he told the real estate broker, and the real estate broker was stoked. He's just somebody who's into true crime himself, and he found this very exciting.
Oh, awesome.
Now, William.
Yes.
I talked to you earlier without telling you the subject of this, and I said, would it be okay, like legally, not asking for his permission, for us to play like an audio clip in the show because I think that it's important. And so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to play this on my phone and hold it up to the microphone. This is William J. Pitts III James Pitts III, being interviewed by the News Tribune in a video about this house. The visual is good too, but you really only need the audio, and you can hear this guy's excitement, and it is quite something.
Cool. Here we go.
Okay. Let me just hang on.
Yeah, make sure it's linked up.
Wait.
Can't tell anybody. James.
Okay.
He already sounds excited. James.
He's so excited. Okay, here we go.
James, I want to tell you something, but you can't tell anybody. Like, what's going on? It's like, this house belonged to Ted Bundy. And I'm like, no, it didn't. He's like, no, yes, it did. Then his contractor runs upstairs and starts freaking out. He's like, yeah, let me tell you what's going on. And he's like, every time we have sawdust on the floor, there's writing in it. He's like, what do you mean there's writing in it? Well, they just, like, write stuff. Okay, I just kind of blow it off, just whatever. And our phone always dies. So I still blow it off. James, you're not going to believe what happened this time. So they have a priest come in, they pray over the house, actually. And of course the neighbors remind them also that this was Ted Bundy's house. So that was one of the things that we kind of just made sure we just kind of kept quiet initially because we weren't sure how people would react. I was like, oh wow, this is so cool. I wonder what we can find. It was kind of eerie, but at the same time, I thought, this is really neat. So when you look online, it said this was his bedroom. And back here, which makes it so unique, is there's still birds in here that have been trapped and petrified. We didn't take them out. We just left them because we're like, oh yeah, we're not going to touch those. So I took a picture of my face next to the birds, then kind of zoomed in on the birds further, then took a deep picture of it, and I posted it on Facebook. you know, and made my little ghost story. This is my ghost story for the night, you know.
This guy loves his life.
Isn't that so good?
That's amazing.
So
I've never heard somebody. That is, by the way, like what I want to do. Like we've talked about, like having a ghost hunting show ourselves, where we like show up in a place. We're like, can you believe that we're here? This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is all. Instead of those shows where like Zach Bacon's just like,
Yeah.
so if there are any spirits here, can you talk to me? Like just go and be like, hey spirits, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. We're excited about this. That guy was thrilled.
Absolutely. I love the part where they found dead birds
What is going
in
on?
Ted Bundy's bedroom.
What is going on?
And he was like loving it. And also the caption for that video says like, they take us through like the room, including desiccated birds. And at first I was like, oh my God, did Ted Bundy like rip birds limb from limb and they're in that thing? I think they just like flew in there or whatever. But
It's weird for them to fly in there.
it is weird.
To see the video,
but
we'll put a link to the video as well, I think, in the
Yes,
show
yeah.
notes. But it's like a little cubbyhole kind of thing in the wall,
Yeah.
but it's in like the bottom corner. So that door would have to be open. A bird would have to fly in and not be able to fly back out. That's weird.
It's very weird. I'm not sure the implication. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And it's weird to
I think that
find
they
it
would
and be
have
like, this is cool, instead of like, let's clean out the bird skeletons.
And he was like, I took a selfie, you know, with my face next to them, and then I like went in deep on the birds, and I like took a picture of that.
He was
William J.
overjoyed.
Pitts III is great.
William J. Pitts the third. Well done, buddy.
We salute you.
Congratulations. We do. We salute you.
So
We salute you.
So William J. Pitts III said that when they put the house on the market and everything, they decided to they didn't advertise it was Ted Bundy's house. They decided to keep that kind of quiet. I don't know how this guy kept it quiet.
Yeah.
It seemed to be bubbling up out of him, but somehow he tamped it down. He said they kept it quiet, and he said that a number of people who inquired about the house did ask about the house being Bundy's. Like, they were aware of the address and stuff.
Maybe that's just a common question when you're buying a house.
Yeah.
Okay,
So is it Ted
great.
Bundy's,
Now
or-
it's a 2-bath. Now, was this Bundy's? Was this T. Bundy's house?
Was this Ted Theodore Bundy's? But then the people who ended up buying it didn't ask about it, and he didn't offer it up. And the News Tribune tried to get in touch with the current owners, but they couldn't get in touch with them.
The News Tribune.
I know.
Yes, hi, I'm Tucker calling from the News Tribune. And,
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? They always hang up on me. We don't sound like a real newspaper. I
Yeah.
keep telling you, boss.
I know,
We need a better name.
I know this has been the name forever, but I think it's time. So the same way there was no real comment about whether we are to infer that the desiccated birds died at the hands of Ted Bundy or not,
Yeah.
there's no comment in this about whether, there are no lines drawn in the News Tribune's reporting about, oh, this is Ted Bundy's ghost doing anything.
Right.
Or maybe this ghost was already here and it drove Ted Bundy mad and made him do anything. They just reported it is what it is. That's the experience that this contractor had and these workers and everything. And that's all we're saying. And I prefer it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know what? I salute you too, News Tribune.
From us here to you.
That's right.
Well
Thank
done.
you for not drawing weird parallels.
Earnest reporting. However,
That's right.
I would like to see a movie where Ted Bundy has a buddy who's a ghost
Yeah.
who's urging him to do this stuff
Yeah.
or something. It's like a Calvin and Hobbes style fantasy.
Right.
Or maybe David Berkowitz with that dog.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Son
maybe
of
this
Sam?
ghost was, yeah.
And they're going down a sled together like
Right.
Calvin and Hobbes, and then doing other stuff too.
Sure.
But most of it's lighthearted.
Most of it's fun.
Yeah.
Wait, what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, no. So when I was researching this, there seems to be not a ton, but I read about Ted Bundy's haunted house or whatever, and then I think I put in Ted Bundy hauntings. So I was like, oh, do people say that Ted Bundy haunts that sorority house or
Oh, yeah.
whatever? Not a whole lot. There was a whole article about a mall that I think that he was kind of trolling for victims at in the parking lot. And I thought that it was gearing towards saying that there are hauntings of him there.
Oh.
But it basically just kind of talked about his crimes and then said they talked to a security guard and the security guard said nothing haunting has happened. But the title was is this North
Yeah,
blah blah?
clickbaity.
haunted by Ted Bundy, but there was like a long, pretty good article with just like a very weird angle.
No.
I wonder if it's somebody who's like editor like wanted them to give like a Ted Bundy ghost
Yeah.
article, and they just like had to form it to that.
Or they're like, how are we going to sell this article? Give it a name that is not
Yeah.
appropriate, but will
Right.
get people to click it.
right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, if you Google Ted Bundy haunted house, the News Tribune article will be one of the first things that comes up on Google. Watch that video. You're gonna want to see William J. Pitts III getting his life.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Dynamite. I hope to be as happy as William J. Pitts
I
III
know.
someday.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
As should we all.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
All right, enough.
All right.
What's your thing for next week?
Next week on the show, we talked about this somewhat recently.
Okay.
And I said that there's something that I would do by the end of 2019.
Okay.
And I've already begun.
What is it?
I went to a psychic the other night.
Oh my God, you did?
I did.
Where'd you go?
Here on Main Street.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then I got back in my car and I drove to another
And I just
psychic.
drove. Really?
I went to 2 psychics back to back on Monday night.
Which one did you go to the second time?
East Brunswick by the Best
The one
Buy.
that you went to? Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. And I might go to a third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
And I'm going to tell you all about it next time on Guide
William.
to the Unknown.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it.
Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Oh my God, I want to hear about this right now so bad.
I refuse to tell you another
Yeah, I know,
word
I know.
for 7
I'm not
days.
even gonna, I know. I'm not even gonna. When this is off, I'm not even gonna say anything about it because it's just gonna drive me crazy.
Yep.
Just know that I'm boiling inside.
Yep. Very excited about it.
Very good.
But that takes us to the end of another stunning episode of Guide to the Unknown.
Striking.
Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Go check out at GTTU Pod on all social media so that you can stay up to date with everything that we're doing throughout the week.
Yeah.
Get your spooky news fix. Check out patreon.com/GTTU Pod to give back a little bit. And then join our secret Facebook group.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/groups/GTTU Pod.
Yep, you're doing so good.
Thank you. You can also follow us individually online.
Yep, I'm at Shillin' Kristen on Instagram.
I'm at Haunted Sponge. So we will see you next week, and I will tell you about my
Stop
journeys
it.
to the realm of the psychic. But until that time comes,
When you use the word psychic in that, the realm of the psychic,
realm.
is that a noun or like are you the realm of the psychic, this person, or the psychic, the phenomena?
it might be the phenomenon.
Okay.
Because I might be a part of it.
What? William, I hate this.
We must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we, where I'm going to give this guy a wedgie for effing with me. I don't like this.
Good night.
Good night. Let's just move on.
I can't wait.
I mean, I'm excited.
I can't
I'm
wait.
not like that.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. God damn it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go again.
What?
I
Oh,
think-
okay.
I think I'm going to go again.
Why? For what purpose?
I'll explain
Because
why.
back to back, I can understand how that'd be like maybe like an experiment thing. You're like, oh, what are they saying on the same day? Like, did they pick up totally different things for me? Like, why a third time? Like a week later,
I have my reasons.
and then a separate one, like a different psychic,
Yeah,
a third psychic.
Probably, ideally, I would want to go to a third different psychic.
Okay.
There's one thing that I'm curious to see if they'll all say.
Okay. Why? It's two of them said the same thing.
Yeah.
Then? Interesting.
Two of them said the same thing to me, and I was like, oh.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
I want to see if a third will say the same thing.
There is a website called like psychic scams or psychicscammers.com or something like that. And I really distinctly remember reading it when I was a receptionist when I was like in my early 20s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there is a psychic on Route 18, like across from like where Kinko's is or used to be or whatever.
Yeah.
That is supposed to be a scammer deluxe.
Really?
Like there were stories of people where it's like, you know, they said that this, I don't remember it right, but like if this egg, if I crack it and there's blood in it, that means there's a curse on you.
Oh, awesome.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
they like inject an egg with like dye or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I went to that one. not
Oh, but
recently,
yeah.
like 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't remember anything they said to me.
I actually
Nothing.
think I did too.
Nothing.
I don't remember anything either. I think I did go to that one. I remember walking in there. I don't totally remember whether I got a reading or like they didn't have time or something and I bounced.
Sure.
But I know I walked in, but I don't remember.
All right.
Let's see what's up with you guys. Sorry
Well,
about
we're
that.
not meant to cast any aspersions. That's alleged. That's alleged.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Ugh, I know, Eric. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna get off the subject right now because it's gonna drive me crazy.
No, I'm not going to tell her the damn thing.
Okay, awesome, Drew. Sweet, I'll check that out. Drew shared a cool video, YouTube video of the Facebook group.
Sweet. Eric said, let's be fair, who hasn't found a few dead birds in their bedroom? I think I've told a story about how
Certainly.
at our parents'
Who among us?
At our parents' old house, there was a crawl space, and I jumped through the wall to get in there and landed inside and turned around. There was a dead mouse now it's between me and the exit. And I like pictured myself growing old and dying in there. But eventually I had to crawl over the dead mouse to leave.
Those sleeping bags are still in there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Will and his friend brought sleeping bags in there, and then I remember like years later we like looked in that crawl space because it was like where you could take like a panel out of a wall kind of thing. And it was like a crawl space like under the front of the house, and we like took it out and you could just see like sleeping bags under there, like somebody had been living under our house.
We wanted to put a TV in there and have it be like a clubhouse.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean? So you could play
totally.
Sega and stuff and hang out in there. We went so far as to bring blankets in and really nothing else.
No, it was just sleeping bags, I think.
Yep. And then
Like nice LL Bean sleeping bags.
Yeah. They LL Bean
That's
in
like
there
what
all
we
this
had.
time.
Oh my god.
But at a certain point, I opened it back up and I was like, well, they've been in there for so long.
Oh,
now.
you don't want to touch that now.
Yeah, spiders be sleeping in those, so I just sealed it.
All
over again.
cold and dirty.
Yeah,
Cold and
no-
dirty is a creepy combo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Christy Spinks wrote when you were talking about William James Pitts III or whatever. She wrote, A.R.M. Pitts III.
Nice. Harry
Hello,
Pitts the third.
Alan Ronald Michael Pitts III.
Oh, nice.
A.R.M. Pitts
That's quick thinking.
the third. Oh boy.
See.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Bop, bop,
Yeah,
bop.
we'll read those stories for sure.
Oh yeah, of course. Day of the week. Doesn't matter. You can send them whenever.
Yeah, yeah. Ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, good. I'm glad you laughed a little bit, Christy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
Cool, everybody.
And also, hi, Karen. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's going to do it for us
Yeah, that's it.
tonight. Hope you're all staying warm,
Yeah.
happy,
Yeah.
and haunted.
Yeah. Ooh.
Spooky.
Warm, happy, and haunted.
Spooky and sleepy.
Warm, happy, haunted, spooky, and sleepy. I like happy and haunted. I wonder if we could
Happy and haunted.
put that into any.
The happy haunter.
Yeah. Because we like the idea of people being cozy during the show. I wonder if that could be in some sort of like our description or something. I don't know.
You know,
Anyway.
sometimes on like Hunt a Killer videos, I'll go like happy hunting.
Yeah.
Happy.
Happy.
Haunting.
Haunting. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy.
What the hell's going on? Yeah. Guess that's a wrap.
Lost in our own minds.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Diana. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Yay. Bye-bye.